Welcome to this impromptu stream. That was a little winger, Kip Winger, from their very first record, Time to Surrender. Is the name of the song. I'll put it in the comment or the description, but it talks about it's time to surrender to the reality and fantasy of marriage. David Castro in the house, Megatron, T-Tox is back. I decided to do this because next week I will be working outside of the state. So I won't have time next Saturday, which I've been doing one a week, but I figured I'd jump in. Marty Bernard, haven't seen Marty for a little bit. Well, let's talk about the fantasy and reality of marriage from somebody that has gone through it. Hopefully you guys will give some advice as well. What is the reality of marriage? It costs money. It is difficult. Relationships go the way of the dodo bird. The sex dries up typically. The disdain for one another, the cracks in the foundation, the criticisms begin to appear. Just because you're married and share a tax return, as a married couple deduction, that's great. You might be able to afford a house together on both salaries. The realities of marriage are not the greatest. I would say the pros and cons, there's probably more cons in the reality of marriage than pros, just because people get tired of one another. Why has the man cave been so famous? It's because the man can escape from the woman and the woman can escape from the man. What does that tell you? The reality of being together all the time under the same roof causes hardships, relationship, mental, emotional, potentially financial hardships. Although if you're sharing a house, you shouldn't have a lot of hardships unless you're not making enough money. Bobby Barrow is back. Even incels are disgusted with the ladies and marriage. Mega says marriage sucks, just do you. That'd be a great. If I was driving and I saw that on a bumper sticker, I would break into laughing. Nick Vincent is back. 2 in a weekend. Hell yeah, brother. Europe is in the house. Good to see you. She wants the wedding, not the marriage. She wants the attention. Absolutely. Good to see you. Ain't doing marriage again. It's why the men, and we'll get into the fantasy in a second. Why men remarry is after they've gone through such a shit show is baffling. But I know why. WHO, marriage is hard, unlike something. Let's see. Europe says her actions will show her true face. Sure. Lisa Smith is back from Kansas City. I bet she's happy from the last 2 weekends ago. Good to see Lisa Smith. The prostate cancer is a myth for no fap. Do a little more research. I'm about to hit 100 days of no jerking. I think I'm done forever, says Spinning Wheels. There's nothing wrong with taking a break from biology. Good for you. At one time, marriage was decent. Wasn't that great, really? I think the reality of marriage has always been there. The difficulty of getting along with one another. Very few marriages that even strong, loving, happy marriages still struggle. The relationship reality is difficult. It's very difficult for me to be around my kids as well as them to be around me all the time. We need our spaces, and I think marriage sometimes does trap us into a certain way of being. Mysterio from Winnipeg, perhaps all couples need time apart to thrive. I think the problem with my marriage, one of the biggest ones, is I worked out of the house, which had provided wonderful benefits in terms of being able to walk the kids to school or pick them up or not have to deal with babysitters or daycare. But it also put us in the vicinity of being under the same roof all the time. And I think you're absolutely 100% right. We need time apart. The access of sex was the illusion, says WHO. Well said, brother. Europe says marriage means World War blank. Uh-huh. All right. Who else we got here? Marriage, the first time is just blind naivete. The second time is just plain stupidity. Ain't that the truth, T-Talks? 2 times married, 2 times divorced, and she used against me parental alienation. Can't see my daughter. Oh, that story has been played more times on a jukebox than the jukeboxes that exist in the world. If you're with someone who lives in their feelings, it's only going to end one way, not happy today. Correct. Men and women's brains are very different. Women are more emotional than men, although a lot of men today are getting emotional. They're becoming very feminine, where women are turning more masculine. Boss babe, that type of woman. Harshit's back in the house, trying to get my old videos. I'm waiting for Sack to send them, but once I get them, I'll put some more up. I think it's way different between men and women, the pressure of being on the man, ultimately the responsibility. Well, yeah, our gender roles have always been the man should be the provider and protector. That's who I learned from. My father was a provider and protector. And my parents have been married for 55 years, 55 or 56 this year. They've struggled. There was decades where they didn't like each other, but they had a foundation of no divorce. And I think now, as they've been empty nesters for 25 years now, their marriage has, I've seen it. It's been a little different. My dad's mellowed out. My mom's, they hold hands. Interesting. She wants a high value male, but she brings nothing to the table, only nagging, complaining, and a high body count like an old Honda Civic. Well said. The legendary John Boston greets us again. Good to see our brother playing bass. Marriage, as I said before, leads to weight gain and feeds the dopamine. Yep, my sister in Montana married this guy, and she's like, I can't wait to get married because we're going to make all this money. We're going to buy a house. We're going to lose weight. We're going to go on vacation. You know what happened? None of that. In fact, the opposite happened. Single mothers think she can get a high-value male, fantasy mode activated. Well said, brother. Do you think marriage should only be for children? Great question. Yes. I think that is the reason marriage came together, not only for survival, but for building families, to till the land, to actually literally extend their posterity. But as you know, today's birth rate is completely a shit show. The courts know the game the women play and are encouraged by attorneys to do this. Later on, they wake up and realize they have been used by the system. Trust me, no man will want these women. Well said, John. John knows a thing or two. Thou shalt not simp. Of course, Harshit from India. Men fall in love for life, women just for now. That's wonderful. And that gets us to the fantasy. What's the fantasy of marriage? The fantasy of marriage is thinking you can fix it. The fantasy of marriage is thinking that you have her heart and she has yours forever. The fantasy of marriage says life is going to be wonderful. You're a partnership. You're a team. You can weather anything. Meanwhile, who's poking holes in the canoe as you're rowing it? The Honda does have a resale value, especially those old Civics. Big Vegas is in the house. Good to see our brother, Big Vegas. How you doing, Rad? Good to see you back. Big Vegas has been around for a while. Good to see you, brother, chiming in. Teddy Boy Smith from England. Marriage benefits women, says Europe. Couldn't agree more. Expectations versus reality is two different things. I had struggled with that. Ain't that the truth? We put so much, men especially, high expectations on living with a woman under the roof. Like it's just going to be amazing. Come on. That's a fantasy men have. Men want to believe and hold on and attach their wagons to somebody that's going to share their last name or share the roof. Unbeknownst to them, there is a game plan. There is society programming. There is social media. There are women at work that are chiming and chirping in their ear that being single is so much better. You go, girl. You go. Eat, pray, love. Bookshelf Learn is back. Good to see our brother Bookshelf. Mysterio says, how often do you talk to your parents in a month? Probably once a week. We have fun talks. Only a simp dates single mothers. Yeah, 100%. I was listening to some channel. This woman was saying, as she doesn't want a man, she wants a man to fix her car, another man to wash it, another man to clean her place, another man to make love to. Wow. Delusion for 300, Trebek. And you know what she's going to say after she the dude or whatever, she breaks up. I broke up because he was abusive and controlling and abusive. Kanye said, we want prenup. We want the prenup. Well said, Teddy boy. Most men are blue pill simps. 98% of women are not recommended. There is a 1 to 2%. 99% of men are simps. The society, the programming by going to Sunday school, by women teachers, by school that we are taught by women. It's been a very, and not just reality, but the dynamics have changed since the 1920s. The former Ms. Elbag turned into a different person when she talked with her lawyer. The greed exploded. Oh, ain't that the truth? Once you find out who you really married, sitting next to you at the other table in court after 18 years, 20 years, 3 kids, the death of her father, moving 3 different states. Can't make this shit up, guys. Life is wonderful, isn't always wonderful. Well said, Mega. If you don't produce, you will be replaced. Oh, isn't that the truth? How about all their damn shoes? Who needs 40 pairs of shoes? All great thoughts are conceived while walking. Move your body, says Hardshit. Absolutely. Women poke holes in the canoe while getting advice from her committee of female friends on how to poke more holes. Truth. Women are being fooled MK Ultra style by social media. Couldn't have said it better, John. After all these years of programming my mind from the beta male mindset, I feel more powerful than ever. I'll never go back to the simp plantation. You are always welcome on our plantation, brother. Good for you. Is that why Reverse Cowboy is so popular? So she doesn't have to remind herself the man is there, or it can think of some other man. The government and media have to convince you need to marry to keep the system afloat. Buy stuff, buy. Well, the debt, absolutely, Nick. The government wants us in debt. They don't like minimalists. My great thoughts come in the shower. A mid-40 single mother of 3 who I work with is in good shape for her age. Showed me a photo of a man she went on a date with. He looked like a Chad. I couldn't believe it. We are a team is a myth. Oh, yeah. Why do you think the dopamine cocktail seems so strong with men in love than working men? Because men are into fantasy. Men want to believe. Men have a desire in ourselves, and I'm sure Mr. has it. We all have it, that we want to provide and protect and build our posterity and raise young boys and young women and raise our girls to be very strong, traditional. We want to raise our kids to be strong, to think for themselves, to be able to fix their car if it breaks down. We want to teach them morality, ethics, the right things. We find that encouraging. Unfortunately, the government has jumped in and ruined it. They don't want us teaching. They want to remove the father. He only works 89 hours a week, but I feel neglected and he doesn't make money. Dang. 32 years of her being a great partner, and then she breaks loose. And she's probably, she's been planning it for the last 22 years. Men invest, women spend. Any department store will tell you 90% of all the goods and products in a department store are geared towards the ladies. High demands, high expectations. They're spoiled for choice. They're never satisfied, get free. I think that is a derivative of our society programming. Reverse cowgirl, that was funny. Almost a reverse cowgirl. I have experienced that in my life. Got notified while listening to Big John. Attaboy. Simone from Italy is back. The program is deep. Don't think it's going to be easy to detach from it. It'll take years. And I think we as a community need to remind people. That's why we say take your red pill daily, because it is so easy to forget. It is all around us. We're being reminded by family members, friends. It's not good to be single, guys. The guy's going to get beat up with the peace sleeve and he doesn't think about the 3 kids. Attaboy. What would life be like if 98% of women were recommended and 2% would not? Would peace exist between the sexes? I think it'd be a very interesting dynamic. I think life would be a lot better. I think there'd be more production. There would be more, most likely time travel would probably be invented if that was the case. Things will improve if I work hard enough. If I do this and that, why didn't it work? We tried everything. I tried counseling. I tried trips. I tried diamonds. I tried being Mr. Nice Guy, cleaning the house. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, the only thing that works is saying no. And that won't work after a while in marriage because marriage doesn't last. Very few marriages will make it. 1 out of 100. 1 to 2 out of 100 will be happy. There will be probably 20 out of 100 that'll be miserable and the rest will be divorced. I believe that marriage will turn into a 70% divorce rate, if not more. It's that magical 8 to 10 years mark where they can get that social security. She was moaning about him. A Chad was still not enough for a mid-40s woman with 3 kids. Can you believe that? Big John opened my eyes too, T-Talks. I know 3 men who are talking to Filipino women over the internet. I said the same thing to them, guys. Go in a damn coffee shop, start talking to women, and get off the computer. Get off the mother friggin' computer. Mega says, Vention Migtaz saved me, is my true inspiration. See, we all got different flavors that have helped us. That's why every man who has a story needs to share it, whether it's 1 video or 1,000,000 videos. We did finally reach the fusion engine for space travel. That is a big development. Attaboy. He gave her a good time and she tried to get him to do other things for her. And he said, forget about it, in the New York style. The world is a slumber. Let's misbehave to today's society in a nutshell. Well said. Cooking ribs now for later. This bachelor takes care of number 1, says the forever bachelor, Timothy Kramer. Good to see you. Stay strong and stay cold. Peace, quiet, and freedom with a fat bankroll is all we need in this life, gentlemen. We don't need much, folks. We don't need much. There's Sack AB. I think that's Sack AB. If you find those videos of me in Mexico and Guatemala, send them my way. I would love it. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well. Right here is an OG of the original Rad channel, guys. Timmy Kramer and JB. I'm tired of attraction. I don't want them, so they chase me. James Sexton says the marriage is an outdated technology. Well, it's like, it's literally like trade shows now. Trade shows are worthless. If you guys been to trade shows came about in the 50s and 60s to present new products. There was no internet. There was no way to get out new products unless you went to a trade show. Trade shows today, you can find all that shit on the internet. So they're pretty much going obsolete. And marriage is obsolete now in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, the fantasy keeps it alive. Fantasy of men thinking that woman will be his partner in life forever. And if it doesn't work out, he'll find another one who will be even better. He doesn't realize that the one he's getting with is already divorced 1 or 2 men before him. And he's thinking of all the peace leave he'll get. I can't imagine the reality that sets in. And then he will most likely, the guy that remarries second, third time, will believe that there is a woman out there that'll fit his mold, and he'll die going to the grave with that belief, which will never ever come to pass. Thinking of investing in a woman is like fast food. Enjoy your food in the moment, then it's gone. Well said. Nick says marriage generally lasts while the kids are younger and you're supporting her and the kids. Typically, marriages, you see when the youngest kid is around 7 to 10 years old, that is when the marriage divorce thing hits the majority. Not really in the majority. I mean, there are some divorces that happen when the kid's a year old or 3 years old, but the majority, 7 to 10, when the kid does not need the woman anymore, is typically when that happens. When the the mommy switch turns off and the bitch switch turns on. The bitch switch is a term that Big John coined. I hear women are going to Home Depot to find a man. They are also going to Wegmans. I was there yesterday and it was full of single ladies. Better than a nightclub. They're going to Home Depot to find men that know how to fix shit, but those men are typically older. Women equal fast food, men equals freezer. There you go. Oh, thanks, Zach. Thanks for doing that. I know you got them all. You take your time. I don't want you to stress, but when you get a second, I love it. Thanks, brother. Shout out to Zach he kept all of my videos. You're right. Treating women as in the now, it's your turn. That's it. Next, no big deal. Hey, your friend is cute. That's the deal. Men fall in this thing that Wes from 5 Years of Freedom had always said a relationship is just to literally lock up your lady so she doesn't have intimacy with any other guy, which I think is why men want to be married, because they want to capture that relationship only for him and the intimacy, right? That makes sense. I don't want my wife screwing another dude. I want to lock it up with marriage and a ring. But we have to realize we have to pull out the emotions. The world has been a shit show based on the emotional cocktail of our brains and the chemicals that go through it. That is how people delete themselves and delete others. My ex, her stepsister got married, and I watched 2 women get married and divorced and bring other men into their lives. Both stepsister divorced good man. And after that, I never talked to them. Since the brain still develops till about 25, why get married before that? Especially for men. Well said. The Skeletons in the house. Good to see you, brother. Spent the Sunday watching Shallow Hal, learning Portuguese, Czech, and Romanian, and cooking pizzas. Simone, good for you, brother. Rad laying it down to Chinatown, says Blue Creek. Do you work with Fortune 500 companies? I have in the past. Did your ex do ladies with the, she did, yeah, they did like the hell do they do? Like book club or something. Bunko. Thinking of investing in a woman like giving a stranger access to your bank account, you're going to get cleaned out. You're not wrong there, Teddy boy. Thanks for sharing the rads via SAC. Yes, appreciate SAC for doing that. Chris, there's Chris. I was just thinking about you the other day. Greetings from Mexico. Still working on him and I are looking. Chris is planning to build an app for MGTOW Red Pill, and I think it's going to be exciting. Which basically through a game teaches the red pill or MGTOW, or what happens if you choose this path in life. He's working on it. So shout out to Chris. Shout out to Chris. I miss Wes's attitude. Oh yeah. You know what? He's doing his thing right now. There's a lot of people that decide, maybe I said enough. I cannot believe how women just step out of marriage thanks to social media, then cry on social media saying they have been single since their divorce. There's a reason delusions is in the dictionary. It's to explain the mentality of certain people in this world. I think if men are aware that nothing lasts forever and the plug can be pulled at any time, you'll be okay. That's a thing. If we men knew this, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Would we really invest a shit ton of heart and emotion into something? No, we'd say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy it right now in the moment. And then when it's gone, it's gone. I'll move on to the next one if I had to. But we live in that fantasy that she will love us back the same way we love. Most men, here's the problem with most men. Butter chicken is delicious, Mega. Here's the problem with men. Men believe that women love them as they, that women and men love very similar. The more he gives, the more she loves him back, and vice versa. It doesn't work that way. Men and women have very different attitudes and beliefs about what love means. And so men believe in an emotional bank account. The more they do, the more emotions he has in a bank account he can withdraw during the hard time. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. You can give your kidney to your wife. She will divorce you the next day. John's friend married that just disgusting Just very unattractive woman, although there's always somebody for someone, right? Trogue's in the house. Good to see Brother Trogue. The elite have all the knowledge. They know how to control men through propaganda and sex. Well, why do they not want men encouraging other men to live personal lives that on their own terms? It's because if they want men to do that, then men don't go out and remarry and marry and get in the court system and become indentured servants. People say, is there a bachelor tax? Of course there's a bachelor tax. You ever seen a single deduction? Single deduction on a 1040 is less than the marriage deduction. There's absolutely a tax on single men, which will probably be when it's almost too late, like China or Japan. China won't be in my lifetime. I expect I'll not beg for hell and going on bended knee in the West. There you go. Butch Leslie's for 600, Trebek. You're going to see a lot of women also turning Skittles. I think a lot of these head meds, birth control has been linked to Skittles with ladies. Men are checking out, and it'll just be interesting. What does the divorce rate teach us? That relationships are extremely difficult, that you do not control one's love, that you cannot control your spouse. Men cannot control women. And men, there are 20% of men divorce women too. So it teaches you that nothing lasts forever. That's what I think. And we should reprioritize what we truly believe marriage to be. It is not, they say it's 50-50 divorce rate. No, come on, guys. Maybe that's a physical divorce, but most divorces are still married. Think about that. Teaches us to stay that way, says T-Tux. Men invest in a relationship thinking it's long-term. It's long-term. Women have one foot out the door from day one, ready to be happy. 100%, Trogue. Men believe in that fantasy of long-term commitment. I know what she's committed to. Your wallet. He's a good man means you're a workhorse, right? Yo, didn't know you were on. Rad Cheers, says Wolf. Good to have you back. Yeah, I just went live. I just said, you know what? I'd like to, I had this thought today, and I wanted to get it out of my dark cerebrum. Social media is their way to boost their narcs. I'm better off without it. Real life sucks as well. So what's the point of being pissed off on two different platforms? Once you realize, and I know you're a young cat, Simone, FJT is, I don't know, put Freaky Jersey Tales channel up. He just put a video of him in Egypt. He's speaking Arabic. He's a 30, he might just turn 30. He owns his house free and clear. He's a tall, black Chad. He can get any woman he wants. He's got voicemails from women all over the world. And yet he's on his, he knows 7 languages, taught himself. He's visiting the world. He's having the time of his life. And his favorite word is no to women. And all these women line up and he just says, you know what? My life is happier doing my own thing. And he's a young cat. He's literally swallowed the pill as a young man, probably in his early 20s. That marriage and commitment and all this crap was a scam. There's very few kids that get that. So Simone, being young, follow FJT. Learn from guys that have been in your situation, that have never been married or had kids, and they're loving life. Because they've looked past the programming. They've looked past the bamboozlement. I don't know if you know that word in Italy, bamboozle. Why is it that from time to time that I hear that being single gives men a shorter lifespan? Does it really? I think that's a scare tactic, Mysterio. I think that's what people bring. It might give them a lower lifespan because they're alone and they're lonely and depressed. That could be a factor. And they're thinking of an external validator being a woman to make them happy. Now, as we all know, the red pill is all about internal validation. So being a red pilled philosophy type person that believes that going his own way will bring him the most peace, quiet, and freedom, you should live quite a wonderful, amazing life because you've eliminated the majority of stress that literally sickens people. Get free. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Merck. Well, we know what they did, right? Rad, did you enjoy your wedding party at the hall rental? Was it in a church? No, it was outside. I did. I played guitar, wrote a song, played guitar. It was a good wedding. Keep the wallets fat. Never let her go near it. Your money is your business, says Megatron84. Well said. Well, I guess with head meds being geared towards women more than men, women can't handle the daily grind of life. Yeah. And they want to put men on head meds too. My ex wanted me on head meds. Absolutely. You need to go when you're depressed. And another way to control people is to put them on head meds because it literally hijacks your brain and turns you into a zombie. Bish is also, you want your free therapy and emotional dumping. Listen, unless you're massively self-deleting thinking and you could struggle just to wake up, maybe therapy will work, but therapy's bullshit. This is therapy. Speaking with other men in your boat, encouraging you to be a better version of yourself. I don't care what you are, how you look like, what you've been through, you can be improved. Did I believe that at one time? No. It was very dark in 2015 for me. Now I believe. I've been believing it for years now. I can do it. You can do it. Jet Electro. Good man means he follows orders and tolerates bad behavior. Well said, brother. Where are you from? Women know there's always another simp lining up to be fleeced until more men gain the knowledge. Not much will change. Well said. My ex would call me when having a panic attack. I was like, what the F? You're not dark, Rad. You are curious and introspective. Those are signs of intelligence, brother. Appreciate that. Older men don't fall for it unless they are a simp and have not lived with women. That's another thing. I am glad I was married and lived with a woman and had kids with a woman and struggled together at multiple times. We financially were fine. We never struggled financially because I came from a very modest very humble upbringing, and I understood the value of the dollar and what debt meant. So we never struggled. In fact, we did very well until she wanted her $90,000 Range Rover. And I looked at her and said, are you retarded? Pretty much every woman I have ever met is at least a little nuts. Most are run by emotion and always in a whirlwind of unhappiness and drama of their own making. Trog laying it down to Chinatown today. You're absolutely right, brother. I usually listen to my cell phone during a wedding ceremony to drown out the crowd. You look like you're paying attention, but you're listening to the last Aussie record. Bamboozled is deceived. Learned a new word. Yes, bamboozled. One of my favorite words. Not used very much in English. If you want to be invited to the Good Old Boys Club, you better be married. Well, they say that they hire that companies and boards like to hire CEOs that are married. It makes it look different. It makes you look like you're part of as you said, you're part of the Good Old Boys Club. John says, Rad, that is true. I have been on several men's team, and channels like this are very much a need for men to hear and understand. The men on my team, my men's team, were such simps, I quit the team. It's very, I'm going through friendships right now. I've been friends with some of these individuals for decades, and a lot of them are blue-pilled, and it's difficult for me to have anything in common anymore. It truly is. It's not the fact that I don't like them. We have great experiences, but my life has gone a very different direction in the last 9 years. And it's hard for me to I can understand what the situation they're in. Some have young kids, some are empty nesters, but I don't have a desire to be locked down. Some people like to be in a house all day and do their thing. They want a half a mile radius in life. They don't want to go past a half a mile, and they DoorDash everything, which is fine. I'm all about exploring. My life, it's not about the money anymore. It's literally about building experiences, visiting cultures, meeting new people, having new experiences in life. And that is what a man does who decides to go his own way. You can't go your own way if you're with a lady. What do you think of men are from Mars and women are from Venus? I think that is true. It means that we have different brains, and it'll always be that. Women know the power in every inch of their body, how to hook you on the ass and put. Women are not stupid. They are very clever. They know how to get a man. And I say they might be dumb in a lot of areas than men are, but men are dumb too. We fall for the bait. But women know how to use their body, their charm, their looks, the way they speak, the way they do. They're very clever. They're very clever. Never underestimate the power of a woman. Look at Delilah and Samson in the Bible. Look at Schwarzenegger and the woman he married. I mean, he goes from celebrities to rich people. We've all been bamboozled by ladies. John Gray is a simp cuck Mysterio. He sure is. A good man is their code for a boring, controllable guy who doesn't make them moist, and they can absolutely control them. He's a workhorse. Who had the more fun lifestyle growing up? Let's see. Rad kid or rad siblings with your parents at the helm? I had a really fun life. I think my kids, we try to do as much fun things with my kids. We took them to Hawaii a couple times, Disneyland, Canada. We went camping. I took them to the skate park. I think they had a good upbringing. I've been to like 100 Polish weddings, just an excuse to get effed up. Well, maybe Polska knows a thing or two about that. Now that I'm on my own after years of torment and illness, I really like being on my own. No stress. My runway is clear, awesomeness, and many blessings. The red pill makes the cloudy days visible. That's what this red pill thinking does. Red pill, it's not a club. It's just a way of thinking, how can I have more peace, quiet, and freedom in my life? That's all it means. And you know what? The majority of peace, quiet, and freedom is the removal of a woman. It's really that simple. So if you remove a woman from your life, you have so much more time to do a shit ton of other things. Look, I love women. Women are beautiful. They're beautiful creatures. I love the female form. But as I get older, I realize that I cannot, you got to go your own way. Most men are dead. You know, The Walking Dead is not a TV show. It's real life. Most married men are zombies. They are a shade of what they once were. Women are masterful manipulators, says Jason Reed from Colorado. Well said, brother. They're just clever. And it goes back to Adam and Eve, cavemen. Timmy says, guy at my dog park is recently divorced, took a Scottsdale lady out on Friday and spent $600 on a fancy dinner. We all laughed at him. Simp. Timmy Kramer knows a thing. Listening to his uncle at age 18, now 57, never been married or had kids, living his life, snow skiing up in Flagstaff, playing golf in Scottsdale. Brad, did you mean Mr. Mariah Shriver when you mentioned Arnold? Well said, Lisa. I sure did. John Gray probably has micro pee-pee that needs to be injected to erection. Probably. Women think they can resist their kitty, even had one say that to me. Interesting. Big Vegas says, never take your life over the peace slave. Over time, you will realize she wasn't yours. It was just your turn. Let go of the fantasy and your life will become amazing. Well said, Big Vegas. I mean, if men truly understood what our true purpose in life was, it was never to put a woman central to their life. It's not. That is not who we are. Women don't like that either. Women want a man on purpose. They want a man that's always gone, that hardly texts them, that is on his game. They want to compete for his attention. You know, you're absolutely right. And the fantasy is not the reality. And this is what relationships, the reality of relationships, they all fall apart. 98% of them. And they fall apart during the relationship. You get tired of one another. Things piss you off. The sex drive, the sex is okay, but it's not the same the first time. You know, things begin to slowly fall apart. It's like buying a brand new home. After 5 years, you need a new paint job. The furnace might need to be upgraded. Things start breaking. You get the nails start popping out of the ceiling. You got to fix that. You've got a toilet that breaks. I mean, shit starts falling apart. It's not the newness anymore. If my female friend's 20-year-old son is thinking about moving in his girlfriend to his apartment, do they make it? No. His brother did, and they did not make it. No, you can't. They're too young. They want to play house. They want to play house. My ex was a very skilled orator. She could talk her way out of anything. Well, I think women are very good at that. They can talk, and they use their emotions. They use tears. You know, mine would always say, I can never make you happy. She'd always say that. That's why I'm divorcing you. It's just not working. You're abusive and controlling. Look at the maid, Arnold Bank. Yep. Disgusting. Told everyone I knew that social media is bad for our health. No one listened. Then Cal Newport made a TED speech. He got no recognition as well. People prefer fantasy over the harsh truth. Sure. Social media is horrible. My girlfriend said to never trust a woman. She also believes that men can't live without peace leave. She is amazed at how I don't chase her for ass. I simply don't care. When you get to the point where you don't care, you have a superpower. Having a backbone shows women that they can't talk their way out of it. All you got to say is no. That's it. You put your direction down. This is what we're doing. This is where we're eating tonight. This is what you'll do tonight before you fall asleep. These are what the knee pads are for. And if you don't like it, there's the door. If men were more like that and more stoic and straightforward, who knows? I could be wrong, though. Society has programmed men to be workhorses and to literally have a virtual removal of their pee-pee. It's really that simple. That's what they want. They want men to say, to be told to jump, and they'll say how high, and to give them their wallet and work. I got a buddy that's married, has no idea how much his house payment is. He has no idea how much his anything is. I go, dude, what happens if she dies? Are you going to know? Like, you should be involved in the finance. I ran the finances. If I let my ex run the finances, would we be destitute? No. Would we be bankrupt? No. But, I needed to be involved in every transaction. And she was very good with money in a lot of ways. But I think that and she had a credit card and the debit. So she didn't go hog wild. She had her own bank account and money when she worked. But you got to be involved. You got to know where your money's going. He doesn't know anything. He's living in the fantasy that, she takes care of everything. I love her. She's wonderful. I love her. I go home and we watch television shows and I scratch her back. And what does she do for you? I just love her. She doesn't even make dinner for him. Monks do not give a shite. Women like Mariah Shriver are gross. I don't find her very attractive. Although, didn't her kid marry Chris Pratt? I wonder what's going to happen to Chris Pratt, because he apparently is not a liberal. I wonder if they're going to start shadow banning him from the Good Old Boys Club in pedo Hollywood. To an employer, being a married man means he has financial responsibilities, so he won't quibble with getting used and treated poorly at work. He's stuck. I guess sex between the genders is like your battery theory. Energy will drain one way or another. I'm still mixed up about this. Well, I don't think, there's a lot of people that say that, people try new things in marriage and you need to spice it up. But in the end, you go back to the same routine and the same position. I'd recommend Digital Minimalism, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World by Cal Newport, Life Change. Yeah, I think that we have to get away from, I don't have any, I do have a fake Facebook for my homeowners association, my mountain bike group, and some Mexico stuff. That's it. And it's under a fake name. And I think I have 2 friends. I don't even know. Well, yeah, I know 2 of them. That's it. But I use it for, and that's all I had one. And then I got rid of it when we were going through divorce, and she started posting like really cryptic messages. And I'm like, I'm done with this crap. And so I don't have any of that. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have Gay Gook. I don't have any of that. Really, I mean, if we call this chatting together, this is a forum. This is no different than the forums back in the servers back in the 90s where people, shared experiences or whatever. We just have it, virtual. You can see who's talking or who's not talking. Feminism has caused even women to become the most miserable they have ever been, yet they still refuse to see it. Interesting how that works, huh? Do you ever watch your own shows once in a while? I watch them all. But I usually speed them up. When I'm responding and I'm speaking, about a topic, I like to go back, because as you're speaking and responding, you're obviously thinking in a different pattern. But when I go back and listen, it's a different experience. So yes, I do. Rad, who is the most vicious lady you were ever involved with? Oh, that is a great question. That is a great question. I haven't had any crazy Tiffany's that scratch your car or, do any of that stuff. They're just more wacko, like dark triad types. And usually the problem is they're kids, at this point, even 25-year-olds in Utah have kids. It's very rare. I've only gone out with probably 8 women in 17 years, or excuse me, 9 years that have not had kids. But now they're usually, I haven't had any crazy ones. I mean, I have one that jumped in got in my phone. She found my password and got in it, but her fault. Shriver is too skinny, so visually I'm not attracted to her. Same with Celine Dion. Rad's top, Farrah Fawcett. Oh, geez. Who's the one chick? Oh, man, I thought she was hot. Morgan Fairchild. Oh, when I was like 14, I thought she was gorgeous. Morgan Fairchild. Ashley Judd was hot, and she's not hot anymore. When she first came on the scene, I thought she was hot. The chick from Mary Stuart Masterson, Some Kind of Wonderful in the 80s, I thought she was attractive. She had a nice rack on her. She had short hair, but I thought she was sexy. Scarlett Johansson. Who do I like now? Oh, man. Some of these newer, younger actresses are attractive. They've been, one was in a thriller on a sailboat, sailing with a boyfriend. And it's kind of a thriller, like quantum physics type show. It was good. Being married looks good to employers and gives you approval. Better play the game right than be an outlier. There's a lot of clubs out there, guys, in religion, in your neighborhood, with school-aged other school kids or other parents who have kids in school or sports with you. It's all high school. At the end of the day, life, you never graduate high school, because high school is who you hang out. Everyone's still living in high school in a 40-year-old body. I might be a grandfather. I don't know, but probably. I'm not going to be one of those helicopter grandparents. I'll probably come in twice a year. I'm going to be hanging out in Mexico. I can't stand Celine, or wherever, Asia. Serious question outside of your ex. Was there any woman you really loved as defined by you? Post-divorce, no. Pre-divorce, I liked this one gal from Arizona. I don't know if I really loved her, but I really was smitten around 1993 and 94. Timothy Sokol is back. Good to see you, brother. Skinny bitches remind me of Twiggy if you're as old as me. Twiggy. I am Twiggy. Remember when Twiggy got his girlfriend? He's referencing Twiggy from Battlestar Galactica. Wait, no. Is that Twiggy? Wasn't Twiggy? No, Buck Rogers. Wasn't Twiggy was on Buck Rogers, right? But you might be thinking of somebody else, T-Tox. The Jaguar Bish was nice, brunette. Oh, yeah. Brad, were you Daisy Duke fan like many young men of our... Oh, yes. Oh, I loved... And Three's Company, I liked Suzanne Summers. I thought she was hot. But I was young. And am I Marianne or Ginger? That's such a debate. Everybody most likely will say Marianne, but I thought Ginger was just glamorous and hot too. So beware of the ones who treat their sons like husbands. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to help my middle boy not to be treated like a son husband. Be an outlier. If you're happy, you're an outlier, at least at heart. You know, another thing, one should accept his reality. If you're divorced, you accept it. If unfortunately you're finding this and you're a married man, accept it. Hopefully protect yourself. Understand these principles. You can't be married and red pilled. You could be married and purple pilled, but you're not red pilled. Red pill is no marriage, no cohabitation, no blending kids, no taking on new kids, and not believing in the emotional cocktail of love, which doesn't exist. Susan Sarandon, I think, yes, I thought she's got that. Even though she's a total lib, she's got that like traditional look, and she's got a nice set on her. She's got a nice rack. And she a decent face too. Rad, why does your daughter dish you? Alienated. I was told I was a bad father. She was best friends with her daughter. You know, all the crap. High school is for life. Yep. I'm still in California. They're all fat and loud. Another thing, she probably doesn't like me because I'm a conservative. Still in California, all fat and loud. They are. Women are loud. There's a lot of women. They talk really loud. It's like, shut your trap. Hey, Rad, question for you. I want to visit Mexico for this first time. Where would you recommend? Guadalajara or Baja? But I would say Los Cabos, maybe. And then make your way away from the tourist area. A lot of Americans and expats, but you can go out to some cool areas that are more Mexican dominated. Guadalajara is good. A lot of English spoken in there. You still get the vibe of culture and food. I would not say go to Mexico City. I think it would probably be too overwhelming. Guadalajara is a big city. Beautiful women. The most beautiful women are in Guadalajara. Watch some Austin Powers video on YouTube. The Elvis Costello scene was hilarious back when you could make fun of literally everyone. I miss those times. Have you heard about the comedians now being canceled? They won't let them play or do their comedy acts in Canada, apparently. Betty or Veronica? Veronica. Sup, Brad? Being in my early 20s and living MGTOW, it feels like I have an arcane knowledge compared to others around my age group and even those who are older. It's kind of mind-blowing. RW, good for you, brother. You have found the superpower at the earliest age, like Timmy Kramer. Twiggy was model. Oh, okay. I was thinking Twiggy from I don't know who the model was from the 60s. I'll have to look her up. Public education is like prison. All choices and individuality are taken away. Same thing with marriage and romantic love. Well said. I'd steer clear of Los Angeles if I were you. So I was just there. Are Mexican girls easy to talk to and bang, Rad? Well, depends. They still have the same brain. They just speak a different language, and their culture is more masculine, machismo. But as I say to everybody, yeah, the robot psychic. Twiggy. Check out Twiggy when he got his girlfriend. Twiggy's from 1970s Rowan. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out this Twiggy. I've probably seen her, but I can't put the name and the face together. If you guys want to keep your jobs, never talk about MGTOW or Red Pill. Well said. Michael Richards was canceled too. Oh yeah, but he's living off his $100 million royalty as Kramer. Any chick you see on TV or movies, look up their nude pic. They got to the top on their backs. Well said, Timothy. Here in KC, there are a lot of fat ladies, chicks with colored hair, and fat chicks with colored hair. It just is alerting men that they are worthless. A man that walks with a purple or pink or red colored hair with a bull ring needs to be put in a re-education camp on how to be a man. Three Stooges era's ladies seem classy. They sure did. If you simp for yourself, does that make me a simp? Ha! You should simp for yourself, 100%. Simping for yourself means you've given everything that you would have given to a lady to yourself. So you would be, no, you cancel yourself out. You'd be pimp. That's what you'd be. You wouldn't be simp, you'd be pimp. I'm pimping myself. Kramer was the best on Seinfeld. Yeah, Kramer is great. Twiggy was a popular model, 1960s fashion model from England. I'm gonna have to check. You guys, I gotta check this chick out. Hold on, let me see if I can find Twiggy. I'm gonna see if I can find her as we're going through this. Let's see. Images. She got blonde hair. Ooh. She's kind of palish, blonde hairish. Boy, that picture in the 60s, she's got a nice rack on her. Wow. Had no idea. Yeah. You guys, you want to see a hot chick? 1967, the movie Cool Hand Luke, which happens to be my favorite movie outside of Rebel Without a Cause. Paul Newman. I think Dennis Hopper's in it. Like 1967. There's a car scene where the guys are out on the chain gang and they're, digging ditches in their prison outfit. And there's this hot ass woman, blonde, just bombshell, washing the car in 1967. Her tits are hanging out and she's getting all wet and she's turning all these men on. And it's literally, this is like probably the OnlyFans an OnlyFans like of 1967, where the 100 men are just Google gogging at this woman. I can't remember her name. I don't think she did one movie, and that was it. Twiggy had a short appearance in the first Blues Brothers movie. Yeah, it's kind of ringing a bell now. I bet Rad doesn't talk like this with the good old boys in sales. I'm pretty direct with everything. A lot of guys in sales are divorced, but they're also looking to get married again. I keep it real. I have to deal with a lot of women in my work, especially liberal women. And, I keep it business. I keep it to the topic at hand. I do not bring any sort of personal life, personal ideas. I do not let them know what type of politician I vote for or, any of that stuff. Keep it all business. Europe says dating app is full of all divorced women. Yes, they are. The Great Escape is another classic mega. I love that. Steve McQueen, he's one of my favorite actors too. Biggest Red Flag, Single Mother. Yeah. I don't need no man. Yeah, watch Cool Hand Luke. Great show. And he's pretty MGTOW when he goes in. He fights the bully. I won a $10 bet with a friend last week. Even Angela Lansbury and Betty White did nudes back in. Interesting. I could see Betty White. I had no idea Angela. They all do. I always found the mod era woman very sexy, mid-60s, like in the movie Blow Up. The Yardbirds are in the film as well. Mods, yeah, hot mod women from the 60s. Well said, brother. Single mothers are a time bomb. Do you think you would ever buy an Airstream and travel the country remote? That's a great question. I've thought about what would it be like to pull travel trailer, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to, I want to be stealth. And I think if I'm pulling something like that, if anything, if let's just say I got to a place and I'm like, well, I kind of like this area. I'll buy a piece of land for 50 grand if it's whatever. And I'd put an Airstream on it. That's the only way I would do that. Other than that, I'm going to be stealth and not let people know that I live in, an SUV or something till I find out where I want to be. And if I really like the mobile lifestyle, I'll probably invest in a van life type Sprinter or something, and do it that way. I literally want mobility. This is going to be the biggest change of my life. Yeah, outside of my marriage, divorce, and my kids growing up, to literally begin a brand new change. So there is a little bit of hesitation doing it. I think the excitement obviously defeats the hesitation in that regards, but it will be different. It will be different not having a home base where you go home every night, where you wake up in the morning and pee in the same toilet and, do the same routine, and you run the same routes and go to the kitchen at this time and the bathroom and the bedroom. And, it's going to be very different, but I think the excitement is, and, just living moment to moment is going to be amazing. Now, if I decide I hate it, I can move somewhere else, and I could go live somewhere for 6 months, or go somewhere else for 6 months, or go to Asia for 3 months. There's a lot of opportunity, especially outside of the West and Europe. There are places that you can rent. Vietnam, I know it's hot as hell there. I was watching someone's YouTube video. They moved to like Hanoi City or Saigon or something, and they got apartment for $150 a month, fully furnished with AC and Wi-Fi, like $150 a month. Now it's going to be hot. It's going to be a different culture, but I could vibe there for 3-4 months. I think that'd be fun. Charles Bronson blowing up dudes in the streets like my dad. Ooh, Charles Bronson. Death wish, brother. Let's get some Creedence Clearwater on next. Have you ever seen the rain? Little CC&R. Since you're in sales, I asked this before. Do you have a lot of air mile points? Yes. I took my kids. I don't know if I remember telling you when I took my boys to Mexico last 22. August of 22. It was all in points. It was all on points. Miles, my miles, hotel. I think I spent like with food and trinkets and transportation and what have you, like $500 for the week. I heard India's hot too. I don't really have it. I would love to go to India, but it's not on the top of my list. I would love to experience Indian food in India, but I don't have the desire yet to get there. Probably later in life. I wouldn't mind going to Kashmir and some of those areas, but that's not really on the top of my list right now. It'll probably move up eventually. How are you going to work the show around your house selling and being on the run? I could do it mobile. I can do a laptop. The MGTOW Solution Dirt, good channel, living in this. Ooh, I'll check that out, Nick. Thanks for the tip. I've helped with a few bus converts for friends. There's just something magical about not being, what? A home is wonderful, but I don't have a use for a home anymore. Because my idea of living does not include a woman to take care of. And if you're taking care of a woman, you're taking care of more things, more stuff coming in every day, more furniture, more home decor, more trinkets. I don't have that. I'm actually selling everything. 2 of my bedrooms out of 4 bedrooms are completely empty. I don't even have a dresser in my room. I have a bed on a bed frame, not even a headboard. My dresser, since I moved out, has been a carry-on bag that holds my underwear and my socks and my t-shirts. And then I have some built-in shelves in the closet here that house everything else. I mean, I don't even have a dresser. If she doesn't reply, there's someone else in the picture. Well said. Well said, Simone. Philippines, best for the language. And I wouldn't mind visiting Philippines. Southern Philippines, I heard, is amazing. I got to check out this MGTOW solution, Timmy. Do you think you would just do a condo and keep roots in Utah? Nope. I will never touch a condo or a townhome because, actually, a condo. Condos have the worst HOAs. They nickel and dime you with assessments. If part of the roof on your neighbor's side goes bad, you got to, nope. I'm in an HOA now. They've doubled it since I moved in. I'm done with HOAs. And my utilities, we pay garbage, sewer, water, trash, and it's like $80 a month. It doesn't matter how much water I use. I still get dinged for 8,000 or 10,000 gallons a month, which I probably use 1,000 gallons, if that. Trust me, there aren't many people like Rad in sales. You have to be a yes man to make it in the field. I can play the game pretty well, get free. You got to put some Zepp into your intro one day. I should. I heard it's cheap living in Thailand. I might consider it. That I would love to go to Thailand too. I mean, so the mobility, 3 months in Thailand, 3 months in Cambodia, and you spend a year over there, knock that area out. And then, I really love the Latino culture. I speak it well. I've lived there for several years. I know how it works. And I just love the people. I love the food. There's just something magical about Baja. It's close. I can drive home to my parents if they get ill and sick, or I can fly instead of living in Colombia. Now, if my parents die in 10 years or 5 years, whatever, I will look at South America as another location. I've thought about that, Lisa, like living on a sailboat. There's something magical about that, but then I started learning about it, and they're like a pain in the ass to maintain. They're always breaking down. If you go to San Diego, you see them all like anchored out in the bay, right outside the airport. Apparently, you can, if you had a boat, I think to anchor it, it's like $1,200. So you could live in San Diego for $1,200 a month. Norm was a minimalist. Didn't even own a toaster. Definitely check out Dirk of the MGTOW Solution. I'm going to check him out after this, guys. After living the military for years, I can live on 2 duffel bags. See, that's exactly what I think. When I was in South America, I had 1 large suitcase and a carry-on for 2 years. And I was happier than a pet raccoon because it was minimalistic. Truly in life, all you need are 2 pairs of underwear, 2 shorts, 2 pants, 2 shirts, 2 flannels. That's it. You can wash that shit twice a week. The grass is not greener on the other side while women are on dating apps. Europe, that is the decades-long question that we're continuing trying to answer, and women can't answer that for us, unfortunately. All I do are carry-ons. I do not check luggage. Last time we checked luggage is when we took the kids to Hawaii, which we packed for a week, all that crap. Subscribe to the recommended channel just to remind myself not to have feelings for them. There you go. Wolf says, Benny Hill. Benny Hill is a wacko. All green grass goes brown in a drought. Yeah. The grass is only greener where you water it. And if it's in a drought, it ain't ever getting green. The Passport Bros. Yeah. Carefree Chris is a great channel on the Philippines. I'll have to check that out. I mean, but again, this house is getting listed very shortly. It'll sell. And I'll put my knickknacks and the things that are important in probably a 5x10 unit. I might keep one bed. I told my son he'll have the combo, and I'll put some of his stuff in there. He's a minimalist too. And I have an extra bike I might sell and some things in the garage, but not a lot of stuff. I'll get rid of all. I think in my house, I have about $1,500 in furniture. 2 beds, 2 bed frames, a couch, a kitchen table with 4 chairs, and my desk up here in my den. That's it. That's it. Just sold my other couch, the marital couch, a couple weeks ago. That's gone. Sold the bed frame. That's gone. So there you go. So financially, you're ahead of where you would be if you still, yes. Well, let's just say I'm back to where I was in 2015. I worked hard these last 8-9 years, and obviously bought a house, which is going to do well in terms of appreciation. So yes, I'm going to be good. Now, am I going to live as a multimillionaire? No, I don't need that. I can ride buses all over. I'd like to roam around Europe for a while if I can ever stop working a few years more. Well, you got to think about how you can get to the point where you don't need to work anymore. You don't need $4 million to retire on, unless you live in Boston or New York City. You can live outside and experience life in your van. If you buy a $60,000 van that's, a couple years old, it's already built out, and go live in it. You're going to pay gas and insurance. Park it for 3 weeks one place, 3 weeks the other. I mean, you'll probably spend $1,000, $2,000 on gas if you do that. You can live cheap. Gerald Montagna is back. I sleep on cushions and am perfectly content. There you go. I like a good cardboard sign, a backpack, and money, and lots of money. The interesting thing, guys, is you don't need a lot of money to be happy. Brad, I'm coming to your house. All right, brother. Do you remember the Private Eye show, Riptide, with their offices on the yacht? Yes, sure do. Char is back. Good to see Char. A house like a boat is a hole you pour money into. Yeah, I thought the sailboat, maybe I could do that. Or a houseboat. A houseboat is just is a house locked. The foundation is water. I wouldn't want to do that. But like a sailboat, then I'm like, no, hell no. Too much maintenance. I was watching somebody that did it, and they're like, oh, too much maintenance. The damn engine breaks. No. The epoxy falls apart. You got to get an underwater diver to fix it. No. You got to truly love the ocean and be a mariner and have that mentality to do it. I don't have it. Started my detoxing by listening to Jordan Peterson, Les Brown, and now here I am slowly getting better. Attaboy. I'm going to shut this off in a minute or two. You guys have been wonderful. I live in a giant pierogi blimp. You're the bubble boy from Seinfeld, aren't you? Minimalism is the magic elixir. It is a superpower, T-Tox. Well said. Whatnot. I don't want to be a landlord. I don't. Yes, it could probably net me a decent amount, but I just don't want to deal with the headaches. I want to cut bait. If you're a landlord, great. Again, I've got to a point in my life where financially I'll be okay. I can pick up if I need to, some side work or what have you, teach English or something. But I don't want to do that. In my life, I want peace, quiet, and freedom. And I think being a landlord would cause that issue. Here's another thing. When I'm in Mexico, I love taking the public transportation. I never do private. I never rent a car. And I love it. I love to be part of their world. I love to watch them and just get involved in it. And even having a car down there might stress me out a little. Just thinking, a nice Toyota 4Runner in an area that might be not, that could also cause some stress. I need a small loan of $1 million like Trump. Any takers? You could go fund me. BOT had one. It's to bring on another Thou. Yep. She may be hot, but if she doesn't like Seinfeld, I'm out. Well said, brother. You guys have a wonderful day. Chase excellence, masculinity, and of course, men first. I'm out.